ways to boost your creativity on the Jaw Harp. Now, before you go saying, well, I'm not creative, I can't create something new, everyone and anyone out there can be creative, and it's tied to being in a particular mood or particular state of mind of being creative. Now, there's been some research done on creativity, and people who were generally regarded by their peers as being creative, the researchers had found that these people had figured out a way to put themselves in a certain mood or mindset of being creative. And what they found that mood was a playful and childlike mood. And one part of that is part of being creative and being in a creative mood is letting go of the fear of doing something wrong. And you cannot be creative or come up with new ideas if you have this constant nagging fear of doing something wrong or doing something that you shouldn't have done. So in your creative mindset, accept the fact that any thought that comes into your head or any action you do while you are being creative is okay, because even if it's drivel, even if it's complete, absolute gibberish nonsense, it may lead to the thought that will be the breakthrough in your creativity, in your art, in your music, in your Jaw Harp, or whatever in life. When you're searching for a problem with a creative solution, get rid of that fear. Just even say it aloud. Like I like to say, like, I let go of the fear of wrong or the fear of doing something wrong. Say it aloud, get rid of it, and get that thought out of your head, because you cannot be creative while you're scared of doing something wrong. And it is linked, creativity is linked, and some of the most creative people are children. It's linked to that childlike or playful attitude. So to be creative, we need to be playful, and you cannot play if you have a fear of doing something wrong. So I like to let go of my ego. I like to just make noises. Before I make videos, sometimes I will just shake my head, blah, 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 just shout out gibberish nonsense. That shakes away all this fear of doing something wrong. Then other ways to enter this mindset, and we think of this mindset, there's like an open state of mind where we're open to playfulness, we're open to creativity, we're open to new ideas. And then there's the closed state of mind where when you're doing a task, when you're driving, when you're doing dishes, when you're doing anything, you're in this closed state of mind, because the closed state of mind is really efficient at doing tasks we already know how to do. We don't have to come up with new ideas to do a task we've already done before. So we enter this closed state of mind and we do it very, very efficiently. But that closed state of mind doesn't let new ideas and creativity come through. So most of our day is spent in this closed state. Most of your tasks, most of your day is just autopilot, your closed state. Most of the day, you're not trying to think of new things. You are just breezing through your day, and it's a really efficient mindset. So we need to enter this open state of mind. We're going to need a few things, and one will be some time, some undisturbed time, or as undisturbed as you can. If there's background noise, you'll just have to tune it out. But if you can be undisturbed for a period of time and be relaxed. And one way I like to relax myself, before I play Jaw Harp on Thursdays, I like to dance. Me and my wife will just do improvised gibberish dance to whatever songs. Then I will do some stretching, and breathing really helps me calm my body. I'm kind of an ad hat. I'm kind of an ADHD. I'm all over the place all the time. So dancing, getting them wiggles out, and then stretching. You can YouTube just a 10-minute beginner yoga. It doesn't have to even be yoga. Just some quiet contemplative stretching is what works for me. It relaxes the body, increases breathing, increases blood flow everywhere, I think. Comment below if I'm wrong on that fact. But then after I get done stretching, I dance, I stretch, and then I will sit in silence and ponder and try to enter this open state of mind. And it's easy when you're doing yoga, just focusing on your breath and stretching, to begin to enter that open state of mind. But I want to make myself a little bit more comfortable than that. So after that, I'll just sit, and we're going to sit however is most comfortable for you, whether it be crisscross applesauce, in a chair, in a sofa, on the floor, sometimes leaning up against something, just so you can be comfortable and relax. And I like to close my eyes when I do this, and I'm just breathing. And when we breathe, focus on your breath. I like to make it like my belly is a bowl, and then breathe in all the way, making my belly as big as possible, then breathe out. really intentionally breathing. I don't want my shoulders to move up and down. I want my belly to move up and down. And when we're sitting here in silence, a lot of the times your mind, it wants to go back to that closed state. It's like, no, I don't want to open the mind. I want to be in a closed state. So you'll think like, oh, I need to go do the dishes. I need to take the trash out. I need to do this. I need to do this. I need to do this. It'll start thinking about other tasks. And there's some anxiety and some stress that just happens from thinking about those things. So a good way to quiet that is just think the word in your mind, thinking. If your mind starts blah, 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 thinking. And then just go back to breathing. And before you do this, if you want to solve a particular problem or be creative, just come in with the intention of being creative. But anytime your mind starts racing, think the word thinking, and then go back to concentrating on your breath. Slowly breathing in, slowly breathing out. Or you can just sit there and breathe. Don't think about it. But that's a good way. Breath is a good way to quiet your mind from those closed states. And do this for a period of time and don't try to think about anything in particular. You can just let your mind be blank, or you can think about the problem at hand. I find it best just to relax and breathe. Let some period of time pass. Be comfortable, eyes closed if you want. I prefer eyes closed. And then just breathe. We need to be calm and we need to be receptive to this open state. And the greatest way to do this is being calm and trying to get out of this closed state. And the best way to get out of the closed state is just sitting and breathing and just letting things be. Not controlling things, not thinking, am I doing this right? Am I doing this wrong? Blah, blah, blah. That goes back to the closed state. If you're sitting there breathing like, am I meditating or am I pondering correctly? No, we want to let go of that. There isn't a right or isn't a wrong when we're trying to enter this open creative state. So just go back to breathing, thinking. Do this for a period of time. Do it for 10 minutes. Do it for 15 minutes, whatever. I'd maybe spend 10 or 15 minutes doing this before I play the Jaw Harp. And we begin to enter this open state. Now, I've heard from comedians and musicians that a lot of the times their creative ideas and solutions and this and that, it just seems to come out of nowhere. Often if you try to force an idea to come, you'll create writer's block. It's hard to come up with something unique and original. So just let it come from out of the other. I refer to those ideas of a place where they come from, out of the other. And sometimes these ideas, this creativity, this music, this way of playing, this way of doing things or solving a problem comes when you're sitting there meditating or pondering when you're entering this open state. But sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you finish the meditation and no ideas have come to you. And that is okay because we've let go of that idea of things being right or wrong in this. Because oftentimes you'll just be going about your day and then boom, the solution will just hit you from out of nowhere where you're like, oh, wait, that's what I was trying to come up with. There's something new. There's new music. There's a new way to do art. There's a new way to solve my problem. So oftentimes those ideas just come from out of the other, from out of the ether. They just materialize. So that's what, for me, trying to fall into a creative state is like. You just let the ideas come. So practice going into this open state of consciousness where you're open to new ideas. And it is a childlike or playful-like thing because we can sit there and we can play around with ideas. And in your meditation, if you, it may be useful to think about nothing, or it may also be useful to just sit there and play around with the idea in your head. Try to see the idea in your head. Sometimes letting go works. Sometimes playing around with the idea works. It is all a playful thing. And you'll be surprised at how well this will probably work for you, for your Jaw Harp, for solving problems, for your art, for your music. And I'm going to post a link in the description below of a John Cleese. John Cleese is a famous comedian from the Monty Python show, and I think he's done other things. And there is a bit of dated humor in there, but it's like a 37-minute talk on entering creative moods and creative mindsets. It's for business, but it seems to apply everywhere. I love this video, so be sure to check out the video in the description below, and I'll try to put it in a link above at the end of this video if I can. Anyways, I love y'all. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more harpery. Make sure to keep your harps clean, keep them dry, and keep them oiled. And most of all, be good to each other. And oh, here's another thing that I've been doing for creativity, just as a bonus. And there's no science behind this. I've been 1 day a week. Well, 4 days a week, I play the Jaw Harp. I play the Jaw Harp Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And on my Thursdays now, I've been devoting part of my day to, well, I was a left-handed person at birth. I was changed by my parents to a right-handed person, but I've been going back to doing things with my non-dominant hand. And there's no scientific evidence to support this, but one thing that I've noticed, yesterday I was fabricating metal. And if you decide to spend a period of time switching from your dominant hand to your non-dominant hand, make sure you can do it safely. If you were a jet pilot, you might not want to make the switch to your non-dominant hand while you're flying a jet. But anyways, make sure you can be safe in doing this. And I was fabricating metal, which requires some skill and also some measurements, some skillful manipulation of metal. And what I found was that when I was working right-handed, I would be turned a particular way to hold with my left hand and work with my right hand the metal that I was working with. And when I made the switch to the left hand, because I'm not generally a left-handed person, although I was born left-handed, I grew up right-handed. When I was switching to my left hand, what tended to happen is I was turned the same way and holding pieces the same way, but only holding with my right hand. So oftentimes I was reaching over the top, or it was awkward. So I'm like, wait a second, that doesn't work. So let me just think about this for a second. Let me ponder, play around with the idea of working with my non-dominant hand. And I'm like, oh, well, I'm working left-handed like I'm a right-handed person. So I orientated my body with my left hand forward like I would be left-handed. And then I started working, and I worked for several hours like this, and my mind really began to open up like, whoa, I'm looking at projects and looking at what I'm doing from a different angle. It's not much of a change in angle to go from here and to go from there, but I was seeing like, oh wow, this is a different way of looking at things. And I noticed that when I went back to doing right-handed stuff, I was more efficient because I was seeing things differently just changing my perspective just a little bit. Really changed how I looked at things and really changed how I solved problems, especially in building complex fittings out of metal. And I'm like, oh wow. And it seemed to boost my creativity throughout the day, just taking a different look, because I don't know if the working with my left hand made me any more creative, but definitely the changing and looking at something from a different angle seemed to help with my creativity and seemed to help me become more efficient after I stopped doing it. And I think that's partly due to us humans being in closed states. We try to think of things in boxes. I think that's where the saying "thinking outside of the box" comes from. Because when we think of things, when we get good at something, we box around it, and that's the way we do it because that's efficient. We don't have to think about it. We just get into it. But when we change the way we do it, when we change the way we look at things, we have to look at it from a different angle of the box, or even sometimes we're peering outside that box. So it really seemed to help my creativity at work as well. Anyways, blah, blah, blah. This is a ramble. Again, be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more harpery. Make sure to keep your harps clean, keep them dry, keep them oiled, and be good to it. Most of all, be good to each other. And comment below if this helps, or if you have other things for creativity. I'm going to put that link in the description below to the creativity video. Anyways, love y'all. Harp out. Doodle doo, doodle doo. Ah, wow. Okay. Ways to boost your creativity. Boost. Ways to